a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
Welcome to the restricted section, the one and only Harry Potter podcast. If you haven't done the reading, don't worry, we've done it for you. Here's what we're talking about this week. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Chapter 23, Malfoy Manor, in which Dobby dies. I'm your host, Christina. My co-host today is my friend Haley. Say hello to the listeners, Haley.
Hello, listeners. I'm Haley. I'm back again. Are you sick of me yet? Too bad.
Haley, it's been almost 5 years. They would have just gotten sick so long ago.
You never know, Tina. You never know.
They're like, you know what? This one, episode 300, that's where I draw the line.
I'm done with this bitch.
Also with us today is our friend Michael from Wildling Press. Say hello to the listeners, Michael.
Hey, listeners. I can tell you that the last time I was here that we recorded was January of 2023.
Oh my god.
So
good
it's been a minute.
Memory, yes.
Well, it's not really. I looked up in my emails, and I don't delete emails, and that was the one before this last schedule.
Well, we're so glad you're here. What the hell have you been doing over the last year and a half?
I have been keeping very busy with work and not much else. It's been a lot of work and dating a married couple.
Work and dating a married couple.
You know, It's about balance.
You know, that would take up a lot of your recreational time.
More than you can imagine.
I have been in not dissimilar circumstances before, in a perhaps more distant way than some. But yeah, I get it. It's like trying to schedule D&D.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm very happy for you, Mike. Best of luck to the three of you.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. And you've been dating them for a while, like 6 months now?
Yes, yeah, like 6
that's
months
awesome.
or so.
I just love hearing people kind of like do their own thing and hearing that it works for them, you know? I'm like, we are all different. We don't all have to do the same thing. I love that for us.
Yeah.
He's nodding sagely.
Well, it's nice too because I'm not in a mood to commit right now, so I don't really have to commit.
Yeah, it's like, you already got a husband. What else do you need?
Exactly, and I've said that line many times.
Hell yeah. Well, tell us so much more boring subject matter, but tell us, how do you feel about Deathly Hallows in terms of like the book series at large? Like where do you rank it in the whole series?
I'm not really one for endings, so I don't put it super high. You know what I mean? I love the mystery of things. Like, I will always be a Goblet of Fire girly.
That one is exceedingly fun.
Yeah.
This one's really dark.
Yeah, and I mean, this is possibly the darkest chapter other than the Battle of Hogwarts, and that one's just dark because of all of the death.
Yeah.
This one's really fucking dark.
Like, it's dark in that it takes place just, like, in a series of dark rooms, to the point that, like, there needs to be explanations for why there's lighting, and, like, also just dark in terms of, holy shit, literally everything that happens.
Yes, dark and dark. Sorry, I have this problem where one of my cats will be fucking with my yarn that's dangling from my crochet project, and then I will, kick them gently with love or something, and they will run, but they are caught in the yarn, and so then they panic and start, like, flailing in the yarn.
Oh, dear.
This happens kind of a lot. So now Dante's licking himself like nothing just happened to him, and I have my yarn back and everything's
Just
fine.
regaining his dignity.
Yes,
yeah, that I did think that was your attending to cat's lunge that you were doing just there.
Oh yeah, well, because he started flailing. First of all, he could choke himself very quickly. I don't leave yarn just loose out when I'm not there. And so I literally grabbed him with all my strength by the neck to like force him through the yarn correctly so that he could get out of it. You just need a strong hand sometimes with these fucking cats.
Symbiotic relationship. Cats will eat rodents in your house, and you save them from the folly of their own choices.
Yes, exactly. I wish you would eat the rodents in this house. They're not rodents, just so many flies this time of year. And the cats are like, oh, that's really high up. And I'm like, I know you got an 8-foot jump, Dante. If you really tried, I know you do.
What are you gonna do to make it worth my while?
Well, let's get started because this is a crazy chapter and a lot of shit happens. Chapter 23, Malfoy Manor.
Real quick, I have to say that when you were like, come on for Malfoy Manor, it's a great chapter, so excited, yada yada. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then I picked up the book and I realized what chapter I was going to. And I was like, this is the chapter?
I think it's like I'll say it now, I think this chapter is a lot of fun. Like, a lot of shit happens, there's a lot of moving pieces, and I love it. There's
been a lot of inertia for the last few chapters, and this is where it's like, and we've got our second wind back.
Yeah, yes. So our heroes are in the process of being abducted.
Yep.
Hermione blasts Harry right in the face, and he starts swelling up. He's like, he doesn't even know what she did, but she probably for months has been like, if we get taken, this is the spell I'm going to use to make Harry undetectable, like to make him
the money shot.
The Mike Tyson punch.
Yes. Like, she fucks him up, and I can only think about how he looks in the movies, and he looks fucked up.
Yeah, honestly, the movie makeup did a very good job with, like, this. I mean, he mentions that it's like, I feel like I'm going into anaphylactic shock from how, like, swollen his face is, and yeah, that is kind of how it looks in the movie. Like, it looks like he
upsetting.
He's down there like, I got stung, and they're like, oh, a stinging, Jinx? And it's like, no, I'm pretty sure he was thinking about a bee. Like
a bee.
Like he saw a kid on Privet Drive get stung by a bee and swell up once, and that's all he could think about.
Yeah, like, if my child's face looked like that, right to the hospital. Straight to the hospital.
If you can make it.
If you can make it. So the Snatchers grab them up and take them all outside. They're just Snatchers. They're like mercenaries.
They're goons, mooks,
if
you will.
They're contractors.
Yeah.
The head goon is Fenrir Greyback, notorious werewolf who intentionally turned Remus Lupin, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, like stations himself near children before he turns so that he can infect children.
Yep.
Really cool. Fenrir Greyback.
Cool, fun dude.
That is one more werewolf who is grooming children and... Wait, hold on. What is it? What does Doofenshmirtz say? Something about it's not...
I never
about
watched
it happening twice. There's that meme about it happening twice.
Oh, yeah.
So stupid right now.
If I had a nickel for every time blank happened, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it happened twice.
Yes. Thank you. That, but about child grooming werewolves. Looking at you, Jacob Black. I know you imprinted on her before she was even conceived.
Imprinted. So weird.
So cringy.
What is it with werewolves and children? I don't get it.
The thing that I like a lot of things about this chapter, but there are some, like, consistency issues, and one of them is, like, when he realizes that it's Fenrir Greyback, it's like, the werewolf who was permitted to wear Death Eater robes in return for his hired savagery, and it's like, okay, but werewolves are wizards, right? Like you can only become a werewolf if you got magic, I assume?
I guess,
because he does have a wand, so, like, what makes him not a Death Eater? Like, do they just not let in werewolves at all, or...?
I think it says that he doesn't have the tattoo, the dark mark.
Later on, that's established, and there it makes sense, but here it's like, why do you know about Fenrir
why does Harry know?
Yeah, why does Harry know about Fenrir Greyback's, like, hiring status? Like, but he's just a 1099 contractor. He's not actually... He's not a W-2 Death Eater.
Okay, great point. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I didn't even read it that way, but you're so right.
Harry, oh man, I was about to reference Austin Powers 3, Haley.
Sorry. I've seen one. I'm 1 for 3. I assume it's 3 movies?
But it's obviously a strong trilogy.
Nobody does just trilogies anymore, you know this.
No, I know, but the last one came out in like 2004 or something,
Okay.
so that was back when they still could do just trilogy.
Okay, and nobody has done like a part 4 that no one asked for in the intervening years.
Don't even speak that into existence.
I'm just making sure it hasn't happened.
But there's this bit where somebody is saying, like, in the bad guy lair, he's like,
Do you know who I am? Have you any idea how many anonymous henchmen I've killed over the years? And look at you, you haven't even got a name tag. You've got no chance. Why don't you just fall down?
and then he does.
Yeah.
I guess Fenrir is just giving, like, shift manager energy, not, like, owner of the store energy.
Right, and like recent manager, like filling in for someone because no one else was qualified and he technically was.
Yes, exactly. So they're like, who are you? Harry Potter says, I'm Dudley Vernon, which is, first of all, the dumbest name he could have come up with.
Except for Vernon Dudley.
Yeah.
And, like, he needs to give a name that's going to show up as a pureblood on their registry. He needs to say Neville Longbottom.
Okay, but, like, is coming up with just, like, 2 names that are nowhere in any wizard registry probably the dumbest thing, or is the dumbest thing saying the name of somebody else that you know for a fact is also Muggle-born Hermione?
Oh, yeah.
She says Penelope
It's true.
Clearwater, who I believe was petrified in book 2.
Yeah, she is a Muggle-born. I wonder if, like, I mean, you know, Death Eaters hate Muggle-borns, but, like, I wonder if, yeah, I guess we don't get a clear understanding of how exactly they're being persecuted.
I mean, I don't know that, like, it matters that much to this movement or whatever, because, like... Like, this is kind of a deep cut that I think I've referenced before, but, like, later on they run into Dean. All spoilers all the time. They run into Dean in this chapter, and, like, they're assuming that Dean is Muggle-born, but in, like, a lot of the notes and stuff, it's confirmed that Dean's dad was a wizard who died in, like, the last war, and just, like, never got a chance to tell Dean's mom. So, like, as far as Dean knows, he's, like, maybe half-blood, but, like, it super doesn't matter. Like, they're not verifying. They don't give a fuck.
See.
Like, it's fascists.
Okay.
It's a fascist ideology. Like, they don't... They're not that exacting about it.
Yeah, okay, I get you.
But still,
Yeah.
giving Penelope Clearwater as a name was kinda dumb.
You know
Yeah.
who does the only smart thing? Ron makes up a Weasley. That is genius.
Ron doesn't even make up a Weasley. He uses the same cousin they made up for Bill and Fleur's wedding for Harry to dress up as. So it's like there's already lore for Barney Weasley.
Right.
There is already lore, and, like, it's like, you can't, the Death Eaters won't know for sure if that's a real Weasley or not. You know, there's, like, it would be hard to find evidence, and also, he lies at first. He says, I'm Stan Shunpike, and they're like, no, you're fucking not. And he's like, sorry, I'm Barney Weasley. So that kind of does explain why he would lie at first, because he is a Weasley.
But, like,
And
also...
red hair just helps.
Red hair,
yeah, it's like, how about I just be, like, a different Weasley? So, like, it's close
There's
enough.
so many of
but,
us.
Right, it's like, how are they even gonna fucking check?
Mike, if you were a Weasley, you'd be a total Bill.
Is that... Are we okay with that?
Yeah, he's described as cool.
Yeah, he
I'm
is.
just making sure.
It says he has 1 dragon earring, so if you just put it on the right ear, right, that's the gay ear.
Yeah, I have my left ear pierced. We can go with that one.
Oh, really? Wait.
But it's in there. It's the, what's that one called that's on the inside?
Oh, yes.
The rook?
Okay, is that what it's called?
I think so.
I think it's called the Daith.
You know who would
Dog.
know the answer? Bill Weasley.
Bill Weasley
Yeah.
would totally know the answer.
What I love is that I have the piercing. I'm like, I don't know what it's called. It's just metal
It's
through
in
my
my
ear.
Yeah. So, Yeah, they're getting abducted with Dean, which is awesome because I was weeping over my worry for him in the last chapter because on the radio show, they were like, if anyone knows where Dean is, we don't know if he's alive or dead.
And his mom and his sisters are worried.
I know, it's very upsetting.
Yeah.
So he's here. He's okay. He's the least of the Death Eater's worries right now.
Oh, Dean.
So the Snatchers find the sword, and they're getting all in a tizzy. And Harry is being pulled into Voldemort's mind. And all of this time that I've spent being like, Hermione, give it up. He doesn't need to learn occlumency. This actually is a really good use case for why he maybe should have that in his back pocket to turn it off.
You know, he's doing all right here. Compared to how he's done in the past with, like, blocking Voldemort out, he's, like, very much for once motivated. And he's like, not right now, not right now, not right now, not right now, not right now.
I think part of that might literally be, like, adrenaline, you know? Like, I think physiologically he's being helped.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the adrenaline is giving him a breakthrough of, like, oh, this is what he meant. Okay, no, I'm getting it now.
Yeah.
3
Because,
years after I learned.
It's like not having your anxiety attack until after you're away from the car crash. So that you just
Oh my
experience-
god, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you're so centered during it. This is what I have to do to survive. You know, that like once you get away from it, that's when you break down.
Yes. Oh my
That's
god,
what he's channeling.
That's definitely happened to me where I'm like doing something and I'm like fine, and then I turn around and just burst into tears. I'm trying to remember. I kept thinking reading this about when I was graduating from college, and during my graduation ceremony I was like kind of fainting the whole time, not from anything, just from bitches be fainting sometimes. And I was like, please don't let me do this in a room full of like hundreds of people. And that was like a much less desperate situation, but it felt the same where it's like, just, this is not correct. Please, if I'm going to do this, let me do it privately in a bush. You know?
In a bush. I'm speaking from experience.
If you're gonna faint, you're gonna do it in a bush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would help if, like, the visions he was getting from Voldemort were like, oh, he's taking a nice vacation by the Mediterranean seaside. He's in the south of France, wandering along a beach. No, he's storming an impregnable wizard prison. Not the one we already know, some different one. And, like, breaking in to interrogate an old guy. So, like, everything going on is stressful. He's just switching between two extremely stressful channels.
Ooh, yeah. So, the Snatchers are like, yo, this is Hermione Granger. I recognize this fucking face anywhere. This is Hermione Granger. And then they know she's traveling with Harry Potter, and the reason that they know... First of all, they should have known that. Yeah. But they really know it now because they were spotted together at Xenophilius Lovegood's house recently. And they're like, oh my god, would you believe that his best friend is traveling with him?
Look at just holding the picture up next to her face like, I don't know, is this the hair? Is this not the hair?
Right.
So then they look really closely at Vernon, and they see something on his forehead. And they're like, what is this? And he does not say, that's where the bee stung me, which is dumb. That's where the bee stung me, you idiot. Mm-hmm. Right in the forehead. Look at my fucking face. So then they're like, I thought Harry Potter wore glasses. And some idiot is like, oh, I found glasses! I fucking found glasses! Hell yes! And I would just like to point out that he doesn't even need his fucking glasses. There's a lot of scenes like this where he's just casually not wearing his glasses.
Like, his eyes are swollen, partially shut, and he's still able to, like... And I get that, like, Greyback's, like, directly in his face looking at him, but, like, it's dark, and he doesn't have glasses, and his eyes are swollen shut, and he's still like, oh, yeah, I can see the sores on his mouth, and, like, the cavities in his teeth. Like, can you?
That just creeps me out for how close he must truly be to his face. Like, get your face away from me.
Especially for a Brit, you know, they can't handle that
that intimacy.
Yeah, that close social interaction.
So they're like slowly realizing they really do have Harry Potter. It's Harry Potter!
Harry Potter!
So they start debating what to do next. They don't want to take him to the Ministry because the Ministry will then take credit. They decide to take him to the Malfoys.
Meanwhile, Harry's still flipping through mental channels, and we're back to the prison, and we're back in the woods, and we're flying around the prison, and we're back in the woods.
He's volding. He's volding very hard. He's at the top of a tower, and he sees a figure. Okay, that's where we're at with the volding channel. So they all disapparate, and they end up at Malfoy Manor. Harry is still volding. The dude in the tower says, I never had it. Okay, back to Malfoy Manor. And then there's a face in the gate, which I think is very cool.
Yeah. And then it yells at them. I want that as a security system.
Same. What I love is how descriptive it is of that gate, and when they first get up there, just how, just getting into the manor in general takes.
Oh, yeah.
And I know they had so many other things to focus on in the movie, but in the movie, that's not there.
Yeah.
It's just Bellatrix, with her face pressed against the gate, hey, you coming in? You know what I mean? And I was just kind of oh.
They're like, we could animate a crazy face, or Helena could do a crazy face.
It probably costs more for her to do the crazy face.
That's probably true. Oh my god, I'm sure that's true, actually.
Also, I kind of love how, the gates... The wrought iron shapes itself into a terrifying face that asks, what does state your business? And they're like, oh, we've got Harry Potter here. And then the gates just, without another word, open, and it's like, oh my god, Draco, do you think he's gonna invite you to prom?
Yeah.
He's at your house!
Wait, Haley, who was it? Was it you? Somebody recently showed me a meme of this scene saying when your crush shows up at your house unexpected.
I think I've said that out loud. I don't know if I showed you a meme, but I did say it out loud. Yeah.
Maybe that. Probably what happened is you said, "We'll talk on Wednesday for the recording," and I said, "Yep, Malfoy Manor," and you said, when your crush shows up at your house unexpected, and I was like, just like Lizzie Bennet in Pride and Prejudice showing up at fucking Pemberley.
I thought you were in London.
No. No, I'm not.
No.
No, I
We
came
would not
back
have
a
come
day
if we
early,
knew
some
you-
business with my steward.
Yeah.
I always feel for Lizzie Bennet whenever I think of that moment. Harry can't even be excited about realizing quite how rich his boyfriend is because he is going through a lot right now.
But, I mean, it's albino peacock rich. We've confirmed it's albino peacock rich.
It's really serious.
Yeah, I mean, there's a hedge maze.
Yeah.
So, wait, it doesn't say there's a hedge maze?
I mean, they're passing through hedges that are
That's so
very
funny. They're
high
like,
over their heads.
They're like, ooh, maybe another teenager will die if we erect our own hedge maze.
One can only hope.
Because he died.
In a hedge maze. Yep.
Technically outside.
Teenage boys be dying in hedge mazes.
When I was a kid, I knew that I made it. I was going to make it as an adult if I got a house and I could have a hedge maze. I'm not kidding.
God. Can't wait for you to become an adult someday, Mike.
Right. Because I haven't got the hedge maze yet, but I really wanted one.
Yeah, when you have a hedge maze, can I haunt the hedge maze as a minotaur or something similar?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, sorry, did you want the minotaur job, Tina?
I was about to say I will not be going there, but then I was like, if I know it's Haley.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And being gay, the costumes will be fabulous.
Of course. That's why I want the
You're
job.
going to look amazing.
Of course I am.
I'm going to have some shaggy minotaur running through my hedge maze.
Oh my god. Like the Krampus from not the Krampus, from the Bob's Burgers episode.
The
What did they
Bleakin?
call it? The Bleakin.
Oh, I love the Bleakin.
The Bleakin is coming as fast as we can, ruining Christmas like we don't give a damn.
Fake
I know
fan.
so many people with that outfit, and it's not because they know Bob's Burgers. Been to so many clubs where I've seen that exact outfit.
Sexy
I may own
Krampus.
a couple pieces.
Oh. Okay, so Narcissa shepherds them all into her home. Pour one out for Narcissa getting caught in this whole fucking thing.
Although I do love that, she comes outside and like, Greybag is like, "Hi, it's me, we're here," and she's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
And he's like,
I love that.
"You know who I am?" Like,
That's like one of my favorite jokes when people come to my house is cracking the door open and saying, Who do you know here?
It's so humbling.
like, in his case, it feels like a real, I didn't know that the leopards eating people's faces party would eat my face. What do you mean you don't remember me?
Truly. Yeah, you really get to see, I think you get to see a lot of the Death Eater organization and operation in this chapter, which I enjoy a lot.
Because it's kind of exactly what you would expect.
Yes. So Draco is home for Easter. So they basically drag all of the prisoners. Harry, Dean, is it Griphook is also
Yeah.
Hermione and Ron. So there's 5 of them all bound together,
Like-
and they're like being moved together.
Yeah.
Which sounds hard. That sounds difficult.
Very
Right.
difficult. A lot of like stepping on and kicking heels and ankles.
Yeah. And the goblin, I mean, is he...
He's got to be strapped to someone's back.
Are his feet on the ground?
Like, Harry has literally just, like, assumed it's Griphook because he knows that's who Dean was with, so he's just like, oh yeah, it's Grip. Like, it's not even reference of, like, which Harry assumed was Griphook. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm tied to Dean and Griphook.
Yeah.
Really playing fast and loose with the assumptions here. I mean, he's right in this case, but still.
It's true. That sounds like a classic where, like, as an editor, if this wasn't already a million pages long, I'd be like, okay, like, what evidence? Or, like, let's take a look at him real quick during this moment.
Right.
But yeah, I think Griphook is doing the Yoda Luke backpack, you know?
Yeah, totally.
On Dean, that's how they've been traveling together.
Dean's been on his own quest.
I want to know, what have Dean and Griphook been up to? Like, since they escaped... whoever killed Ted Tonks, like, what are their conversations like? Like, I just want to know. What did they talk about?
I would love to know anything more about Dean, honestly.
Yeah, everything more. So Draco is looking at Harry, but he's kind of it says, like, Harry's terrified to look at Draco. It says Draco is also terrified to look at Harry.
Well, I mean, his mom just called him the fuck out. Like, Draco's mom was just like, yeah, my son Draco's home for the Easter holidays. If that's Harry Potter, he'll know. Kind of implying that his walls are just, like, plastered with a 4-dimensional collage of his crush.
Or, like, he opens his closet and has, like, a Helga Pataki shrine.
Including a used chewing gum bust.
Yep, yep.
Ooh, yes.
And Harry is like, I can't look at Draco. We have made longing eyes at each other so much. There's no way he won't know it's me. And Draco is like, I mustn't look at him lest the longing in my eyes betray me.
Please don't be judging my interior decor. Please don't be judging the interior decor of my drawing room. I know the walls are eggplant. I argued with Mother about it.
Do you think that the Malfoy Manor is... Do you think they're classy rich or tacky rich? Like, do you think the room they're in right now is, like, epic, gothic, or do we think it's, like, tacky?
I mean, two things can be true.
Yeah, both.
Because they do have albino peacocks, but, like...
Is that tacky or classy?
It's both.
It's both. Okay.
But, like, just this line, like... The drawing room dazzled after the darkness outside. Even with his eyes almost closed, Harry could make out the wide proportions of the room. A crystal chandelier hung from the ceiling. Chekhov's crystal chandelier.
Yeah, really?
More portraits against the dark purple walls.
Yeah, the dark purple walls, I think, really painted a picture.
That is a choice. And then, like, two figures rose from chairs in front of an ornate marble fireplace.
Of course, with the marble fireplace, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Opulence, I his
like, you know, the wallpaper is, like, very textural. You know what I mean? Like, it has, like, velour patches. Like, the print to it.
Yeah, it's got, like, an Art Nouveau, like, some kind of swirly shit going on.
A little shiny.
I'm picturing something very specific on the walls, and let me see if I can. Yes, I knew if I Googled royal purple wallpaper, it would come right up. Let me share my screen. I'm picturing, like, this. You know what I mean?
Yes. But the dark part is like velvet.
Yeah.
That old school, like, silk
It's
wallpaper
like-
people used to have.
Yeah, silken, and it's a bit of, like, not a fleur-de-lis, but, like, very close. One of
Yes.
those, like, motif-style, like, ornate, tacky.
Yes.
I want it!
I'm not remotely surprised to learn that. Okay. So Draco isn't sure if Draco isn't sure if this is Harry Potter.
I mean, my crush is way hotter than this, Mom. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, are we all in agreement that Draco for sure knows it's him? Like,
oh,
what do we think?
absolutely. Like,
Okay.
just the palpable energy between the two of them. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? It could be in the dark and he can't see. He knows when Harry's near.
Yeah, like, he knows for a fact who Ron and Hermione are. So, like,
Oh, yeah.
who the fuck else could this be?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, but this is Arthur Weasley's youngest, right? He's like, I don't know, maybe. You're literally in his classes. Like,
Right.
Yeah, like, the way that everyone else, like, Narcissa and, like, the Snatchers, I don't feel like everyone is sure and confident that Harry, Ron, and Hermione are traveling together, even though I feel it's, like, the most obvious thing in the world. But for
They've been doing it
Draco
for 7 years.
especially, yeah, it's literally, there's nothing but precedent. But for Draco especially, there's no way he's not lying. So I think that at the end of the last book, when he hesitated to kill Dumbledore, that kind of started his real character arc, or, like, was maybe even, like, the climax of his character arc, I guess, because he was going through it all year. And, like, now we're kind of in, like, this middle ground where he's, like, really wrapped up in the Death Eater activities, but you get the feeling he's not really an agent of anything.
yeah,
right
he
now.
is clearly looking for a door. Any
He's
door.
looking for a door, yeah.
Yeah, the other thing about this scene, too, with all of the adults being like, is this Harry Potter? With Ron and Hermione standing right there. And they're like, let's ask the other young person in the room because they know everything. Is so reminiscent of, like, Disney TV shows and stuff where all the adults are stupid and only like the kids know everything. I'm like, you're literally all standing here. Use your problem solving skills. And also the fact that we're surrounded by magic. Guess what I can do? I can make my face change. You know, so why don't they just, like, you know, throw a spell on him that, like, would take it away? You know, there's one.
Definitely what I would have done is, they do this sometimes. I've read about this in maybe, like, historical fiction or fantasy where you, like, you capture an enemy and then you, like, bring them back to health so that you can conduct business with them. You know what I mean? Like a nobleman's son or something. So, like, definitely this would be an opportunity to do your best to heal Harry so you can figure out if that is Harry, right? Like, and I think it might have been leading there until Bellatrix walks in.
Yeah. Also, like, these are all... Everybody involved is evil wizard types, so, like, they didn't learn first aid.
Yeah.
Why would I learn first aid?
But, like, spells, you know what I mean? Like, Revelio spells. Like, what? Or, like, just give it an hour.
Yeah, but, like, or I could just keep
Just
using
give it an
Crucio over and over and over.
Oh my god.
Right.
Crucio fixes everything.
So they're fighting about it a lot. I really love all the interactions between, like, all these characters. Draco's not sure, and Narcissa points out that the wand that Harry has does not match the wand description that they tortured out of Ollivander. Narcissa does make him confirm Ron and Hermione, which he does reluctantly. Honestly, like, Bellatrix fought Harry, Ron, and Hermione the last 2 years.
Speaking for the bad at recognizing faces community.
The president.
I can totally see, like, especially with teenagers, they change every year. They always look a little different. These two, like, these three have been in the woods for 6 months.
They look
like they've been hiking the Appalachian Trail. You ever seen someone who's been hiking the Appalachian Trail?
Yes.
They look slightly mummified.
So enter Bellatrix. That's an instant escalation on the situation. She's like, I'm gonna call him right now. And Lucius is like, no, you're not. I'm gonna call him. This is my house. This is mine.
They're, like, grabbing each other's arms. It's like a couple of kids who've been left home alone, like, fighting over the emergency cell phone or something.
Yes, that's very, very familial.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucius is definitely, I feel like you can tell that he's losing power in his home, you know?
Oh, he's lost it. He's trying to get it back.
Yeah. Bellatrix runs this shit.
Well, stop letting her.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but, like, you have to think about when Voldemort shows up and, like, backs her up.
Yeah,
you
but just,
know?
like, stop letting her, though.
Okay, good luck, Lucius.
Mm-hmm. I know, I see his, like, fight mechanism being, like, when cats pop a whap. You know what I mean? Like, I see him, like, doing, like, no, I'm gonna call him.
Bellatrix goes from 0 to 100. At first, she's, like, so excited. And then she absolutely panics when she sees the Sword of Gryffindor. She stupefies all the Snatchers except Greyback. And then she demands to know where they got this, as it's supposed to be in her vault at Gringotts.
Yeah, Snape sent it there, so why wouldn't it be there?
Why wouldn't it be there? She panics really hard. She's crazy. I love her. Now that's a villain. Now that's what I call villainess. Volume 1994.
She's such a good, like secondary villain. Like, she's filling that niche so well. Because she's trying so hard to be in charge, and, like, she really had it. She really did for 5 seconds. And then one thing shook her, and she's just like, take them away, I need to think!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you love to hate her.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, she's one of my favorite characters throughout the books, too, but for completely different reasons why Luna Lovegood's my favorite.
Right, yes, exactly.
The balance.
The balance.
The dichotomy.
That is the spectrum of girlhood. Like, the Luna to Bellatrix spectrum. They all get taken down to the cellar, except Hermione. And this is upsetting. Okay. Ron immediately starts screaming. Him and Harry are still tied together, so this isn't, like, great for Harry.
Oh my god, Ron, if you like her so much, then just marry her or something. Everyone's gonna think you have a crush.
I kind of roll my eyes a little bit at writing like this, where it's like, now that we all know that they're romantically involved, I am very like protective and upset, like I'm going to lose my head when
Extra
something's
reactive.
happening to her, when it's like, you've been very intimate with her for like years and years. Like, I get why Harry's not reacting like that, but I just don't like it, because it's a trope in a lot of like YA fiction where it's like, and now you're mine, and like I would go to the ends of the earth to defend you, and it's like,
now that we've
Ron,
defined the boundaries of our relationship.
yeah. It's like, Ron, why don't you just like be quiet and like look around you and like figure out a plan? Why are you just shrieking her name? It's just not helping anybody.
It is
Harry's
Ron.
like, remember when I wasn't freaking out in the tent? Try that, buddy.
I mean, counterpoint, like, it is Ron. It's
I know.
Ron do be yelling. He's a yelly boy.
Yeah.
We see Luna, Ollivander's there too. Upstairs, Hermione starts screaming, and so does Ron.
Mm-hmm.
It's very upsetting. I think that this scene in the movies is done very, very well. It's like extremely upsetting.
Yeah,
Emma
it's
Watson
way
is
worse
not-
than the book.
Yeah, she's not a great actress, but the bitch can scream.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I watched the movie the night before I reread the chapter.
Oh, really?
And I normally do it the other way around, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, this is what's happening. And it did muddle a little bit for me after I was like done. I was like, wait a second, was that in the movie or was that in the book?
Yeah.
But I will say that like the descriptions in the book where it's just like she's screaming and they don't really go into it. It's just screaming. And then when he, that whole thing, but like, I don't know, just like the visual of it in the movie.
You get to see it, and in the book you only see it for a split second, and it's while we're doing the escape plan, so it's like, but
Yeah.
and then Helena Bonham Carter as Bellatrix is genuinely frightening, and like to think of being at her mercy is very upsetting, and I think Emma Watson really captures that fear.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing like a behind the scenes thing where they were talking about like that scene got so intense between them that they ended up having to, like, employ aftercare as if for a BDSM scene.
Yeah. And not to, like, spoiler alert a couple pages ahead, but, like, in the book, they never go into what happened upstairs. They literally just, like, they're all back together and they have Hermione in their arms.
You assume it's like Crucio, I guess.
But for the movie, for them to scratch mudblood into her arm, and that's what that's what each scream was.
With a knife. This is a non-magical torture.
Yeah. This is just straight up torture. But, like, knowing, like, then you rewind and think about all those screams, each one of those screams is a dig.
Yeah.
And that's dark as hell for this being, like, not a, adult movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but sorry, I had to jump ahead.
Go right ahead,
dark.
girl. Yeah, and we'll talk about that scene more when we cover the movie part 1 next week. We are at the movie breaking point, because this is, I think, a wonderful climax to the first of part 2. So Luna uses an old nail to break their bonds. She is extremely calm, cool, and collected. It is as if she knew they were coming. She probably has been telling herself every day that they are.
I mean, it's Luna.
Yeah, she's so positive.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a Luna in their life.
I agree.
Yeah.
So Ron, they use the deluminator to light up the room, and they get a look at Griphook and Dean, who are here as well. So Ollivander's been here for fucking 10 months, but now that our heroes are here, we can finally stage an escape.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
We can't try till Harry gets here.
I know. And, like, I think Ollivander, the narrative doesn't linger on him, but I think he is in bad shape. He's elderly, and he's, like, in a corner.
He's
like
just kind of curled up.
In a ball. Being in a ball is not comfortable for my elderly 33-year-old ass, so, like, I don't know. So they're desperately looking for a way out.
And they're like...
much screaming, much distraction.
Yeah, and they're, like, kind of hearing what Bellatrix is saying, because, like, Bellatrix is being loud. And at one point she's like, did that dirty little goblin in the cellar help you? And it's like, I mean, no, we literally just met him tonight. But, great idea. Thanks for the heist plan.
Yeah, thanks for the heist plan. Yes, that's so funny. So Harry, in desperation, is like, what do I have on my person? I have this shard of a mirror that you forgot about because it's been fucking 600 pages since we looked at it.
When you're mid-combat in D&D, just, like, going through your inventory list, like, what do I have, what do I have, what do I have?
Literally, yes. So he sees what he identifies as Dumbledore's blue eye, the pale blue eye.
Oh, God.
Great book by Lewis Byard. And he's just like, help us, which is very funny. It's absolutely insane that this works out for him. He must be a hero. There's no other explanation for
Main
this.
character ass shit.
Like, come on.
I feel like this was unplanned by She Who Shall Not Be Named, because it was like, well, we got him here. Okay, how are we, like, truly going to get him out? You know what I mean? So they went back and wrote, like, the shard into the story. They're like, okay, he's going to need this.
Well, the thing is that he could have just said, Dobby, I need you, and Dobby would have appeared.
Yeah.
Like, if Harry had thought of anything with his own stupid brain, he could have made this happen without the fucking shard.
He's too British to just go calling people willy-nilly. Right. That wouldn't be proper.
And Dobby's energy is if Harry even just said, duh, like got the duh out of, he'd show up. You rang?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You need me? We're friends, right?
We're friends, right? Oh, Dobby, you are about to prove how good of a friend you are. So they can hear the conversation upstairs pretty clearly. Do y'all feel this is like a tactical error of dungeon placement? That they can like hear the drawing room clearly?
But it's like not a dungeon, it's a cellar. Like Malfoy Manor isn't like equipped for this shit. It's straight up just a cellar.
I guess that they just could have used magic to make sure that their prisoners couldn't hear their every word.
That would have been a good move. It is weird that the cellar is like directly under the drawing room.
Yes, because
they're loud talkers.
It should be like near the kitchen. They're screamers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I would have just... They just get... In this very scene, it proves why this is a bad idea, because they're given the information they need to escape.
Yeah.
They know exactly what's happening up there.
Yeah, why wasn't it soundproof? There has to be,
And, like yes.
you know.
And, like, what happens when Voldemort is there doing, like, top secret evil guy shit, and Ollivander's just like, huh, interesting. Like, why do you want your prisoners to know all of this shit? It's weird.
I guess no one else had a big enough basement.
Yeah, I think it's just plot convenience.
Yeah, definitely.
So Hermione says the sword is a copy. So Bellatrix is like, we'll fucking see if Griphook, not that she would ever use a goblin's name, we'll see what he says about this. So Harry begs Griphook to lie and say it's fake. And Draco comes and gets Griphook and takes him away. And he's very brave. He's like, back up! I won't hesitate to kill you!
And he doesn't cry or anything.
Fucking Draco Malfoy. Enter Dobby. Okay, so this is where Dobby was enslaved. So he is not happy to be here.
But very familiar with the property.
Yes, he is. Like, I just don't think he even speaks for the rest of his life.
Not much.
Oh, except for his last words.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
No, he does talk a little bit when he's given the Malfoys a piece of his mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
So
says a very wonderful line, actually.
okay, I don't know. Let me see. I don't know if maybe I have.
But
that.
it's when he's up and out. But we're still in the dungeon.
Yeah.
right
Okay. Where am I? Ron starts screaming. We already did that. Okay. So now enter Dobby. I said that already. So at Harry's instruction, Dobby disapparates with Luna, Dean, and Ollivander to take them to Shell Cottage, where Fleur and Bill will take care of them. And, like, again, I know I keep saying this. I just think that Fleur and Bill's role is really cool in this. Just, like, we're far away. Like, we're, like, doing our own thing. We're not drawing attention to ourselves, but, like, we're helping however we can. And, like, I love that Bill has, like, taken this role upon himself. I love that Fleur has become, like, so integrated with their community that she is, like, as trusted as Bill, you know. Like, I just like that they have this safe space that they can go to. And frankly, they should have been there all year.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
Frankly, they should have.
It's alright, because Bill and Fleur are definitely fucking loud and nasty, and they need the house to themselves.
They deserve it.
They've earned it.
Yeah.
They've earned it. Their wedding. So they hear the people... wait. My notes say they hear the people upstairs hear Dobby leave. Right? Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Do the people upstairs hear Dobby leave?
Yeah, they hear the second loud crack, and then they hear Malfoy, like Lucius Malfoy being like, "What the fuck was that?"
Okay, so they're like, we need a plan right this second. The Death Eaters send Wormtail down to the dungeon. And Ron and Harry stand on either side of the door. Classic. You've seen this in 100 movies. So when Wormtail walks in, they tackle him. And Lucius shouts down and is like, hey, Wormtail, how's it going? And Ron answers in Wormtail's voice, being like, oh, it's fine down here. And everyone just believes him. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
This would have
Yeah.
This is another thing that would have been great to establish in earlier books, that Ron could do really good impressions of people, because like he ends up doing it like mimicking Harry speaking parcel tongue later on so he can get a basilisk fang.
That would actually be a really good character trait. He's like, yeah, I know the twins are funny, but like I'm pretty good at impressions. And give him like a really like kind of way too good Celestina Warbeck impression. That would be very funny. The singer, that his mom. I always think of her as like Celine Dion type. Like his mom is just like so obsessed. I get the feeling she's like a little dramatic. You know, we love Celine Dion, but I think like that kind of energy.
Yes.
I mean, the name even kind of evokes
Celestina Dion.
Yeah, it's all very 90s mom.
Yes, yes. A new day.
Yeah, exactly.
So Wormtail is strangling Harry with his silver hand, you may recall.
It's bionic hand.
And Harry is like, do you remember that one time I saved your life? Have you ever considered repaying the debt?
That you fucking owe me? Where's my money, man? Where's my money?
A life for a life. My debt is repaid. Remember when General Shang says that?
Yes, I do. And I do remember that from Mulan, the movie we watched very recently.
That's after they say, a woman.
A woman!
Wormtail hesitates so briefly. He does not take an action. He doesn't say, you're right. He doesn't start to retreat. He hesitates for the briefest of moments. And his hand that was given to him by Voldemort, his artificial hand, starts strangling himself.
This shit's wild.
And it's, like, kind of hard to tell if he, like, hesitated because, oh, yeah, I guess I do owe you, or if it's, like, a magic thing where Harry invoked the life debt and the hand of its own accord was like, oh shit, you're right. I should actually kill this guy instead.
Ooh, okay. Ooh. Yeah. I think the narrative frames it like the first one, but it is, in fact, another conclusion that Harry Potter jumps to.
Doing a lot of that lately.
Yeah, for sure. I actually, for some reason, I have an extremely vivid memory of reading this for the first time when it came out. And reading that whole thing and realizing that I had, like, missed something because it happens very quickly. And having to go back and reread it and being like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Just fucking... I remember being like, did Harry just choke out Wormtail? Like, what is happening? And I had to go back for clarity.
Yeah, and even when I read it, I was like, thought that the hand sensed Wormtail's hesitation. So, like, the hand turned on him because he got the hand from. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, you're weak, bitch, die. You know?
I think that's what the narrative is, like, trying to convey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, like, the hand turning on him is definitely, like, a Voldemort feature. But, like, the actual, like, loosening on Harry's throat.
The hesitation.
Yeah,
okay.
I think the hesitation itself might have been, like, not Wormtail directed.
Invoking life debt.
Yeah.
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 Okay. But, like, I did also write, like, at the end of the scene, that escalated quickly, because it did.
It
Holy
does.
shit.
It really does. Like, they were not like, and they don't do murder, but they
did murder.
They participate in a death.
Yeah. And
The
then
movie
they
does
just,
not.
and then they just have to, like, move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good thing we didn't care about this character.
Yep.
I just got finished reading Iron Flame, the sequel to Fourth Wing, which are 600-page long books with so many characters, and they are all dying constantly. I have never cared less about a character death than I do right now after having read both of those books. Literally, those books are full of, like, and then, like, I'm trying to come up with some dumb fantasy name that isn't already used in those fucking books. And then he fell off his dragon and died, and I fell to my knees and I wept knowing that this was my fault. And I'm like, I do not know who this character is. Like, I do not know what we're doing right now.
Like, well, they're gone.
They're like, this character is back from the dead. And I'm like, who was this person before? They're like, and then in the last book when this person died, and I'm like, I don't know who that one is either. Like, it's just so...
Oh, well, God bless what's his name.
Like, is it me? Is it the story?
They're really fun books, but god damn, I would have literally ended my life if I was the editor.
That's what the Wheel of Time. That's what the Wheel of Time books got like eventually. It's like there's 13 of them bitches and far too many characters in every single one.
And it's like the Fourth Wing books take place at a school, so it's like, yes, extremely realistic that there's so many characters in her day-to-day life, but goddamn, you have got to figure out. And then, well, whatever, I'm not going to give away any. Something happened to a character, and I was like, it's going to be you, because you've been with our group the whole time, and I don't know a single thing about you.
Right.
It's going to be you.
Fucking red shirt energy.
Yeah. So they take Wormtail's wand, and they're like, we'll process that trauma later.
And then they never did. So Ron and Harry creep upstairs. Run creep. Hermione is not doing well. She is on the floor in agony, in mid-torture.
There's also a lot of torture in the Fourth Wing. Grip Hook says it's a fake. Thank you, Grip Hook. Thank you, Grip Hook. You know, because the goblins culturally have different values than humans, you're not always sure what they're gonna do.
Yep.
So big relief.
Good looking out, Grip Hook.
So Bellatrix finally calls Voldemort, and she's like, "I'm doing this."
Hey, boo.
And as a reminder, they do canonically, I mean, not canonically to Cursed Child, fuck at some point during the course of this book.
I mean, when somebody's been texting you up, you out, you up, you out, you up, you out, every single day, multiple times a day, eventually you just gotta fuck him to shut him up.
Like, Bellatrix is both, like, Voldemort's general, his, like, top general, and also his, like, top groupie.
I research groupies on the internet. They're sluts. They sleep with a band.
Like, she really has this energy. She's
I'm your biggest fan!
Harry can feel Voldemort get that summons. He can feel the anger because I think that Voldemort has been summoned for, like, dumb reasons before. And he can hear Voldemort thinking, if it's not Harry Potter, I'm gonna fucking kill these guys.
I mean, I've felt this way getting phone calls.
Yeah.
Oh, certainly. When I was a lifeguard manager in college, every time the ringtone on my phone, like, triggered me because it was always something. And I'm like, did you try this? Did you try that? Okay, I'll be there. It's like, why can't you just do it yourself? Okay, Voldemort kills the dude, whoever the dude is, the guy who said, I don't have it. He's like, dead. You're dead. I don't have time for this.
I'm guessing that's Grindelwald.
Yes.
Yeah.
The dude is Grinder.
No pick, no chat.
Bellatrix says Greyback can have Hermione. Is this a rape thing, or is it a werewolf thing, or is it both?
I feel like he's gonna eat her.
He's going to eat her.
It sounds like he's gonna eat her. He's been talking about her like he's gonna... Because, like, he was talking about just getting, like, a piece, and that sounded kind of literal coming from him.
What do you think, Mike?
I don't want to say out loud what I think.
You think it's rape?
Yeah. I think it's a combination of both. I mean, we've watched enough true crime documentaries. It's a combination of both. I don't want to say anymore.
Is it a rape thing? Is it a werewolf thing? Is it a combination rape thing and werewolf thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm thinking a lot about, like, I think more like vampire imagery of, like, the lustful consumption. You know what I mean? Werewolves, though, seem more like feral. They don't wear cravats, you know, like the vampires do.
He's gonna make a mess.
Yeah, he does talk about just being given kids to eat sometimes.
Yeah.
So that seems to be, like, largely his MO. I'm not saying he doesn't, do other things before he eats them. But also, like, you maybe don't want to, like, fuck on the table before you have dinner on it.
Oh my god.
Speak for yourself.
No, that's for after.
Yes.
Oh, but my tummy's full now.
Yeah.
So many sexy dates have ended with me being unfortunately too full.
Same.
It's like, oh, our anniversary dinner was so good. We'll have anniversary sex tomorrow.
Yeah, we just had anniversary sushi.
Yes. Oh my god, the sushi really escalates in this household. So Ron runs right in. As soon as Bellatrix is like, you can have Hermione, Ron is like, over my dead fucking body.
Except he's doing it with a Darth Vader, no.
Yeah, but that actually, like, really tracks for him in a way that it didn't for dear old Annie.
Yeah, you're right.
So, much spells, much chaos. Harry gets Bellatrix's wand. Eventually, Bellatrix gets Hermione as a hostage with her knife, which stops the show. And everyone's like, oh, and they drop their wands. Ron and Harry drop the wands they're holding. What time is it? It's Chekhov's chandelier time.
Hey!
Yeah, remember that chandelier?
The inevitability of gravity is on our side. They also talk about gravity a lot in Fourth Wing, but it's a metaphor for how much they love each other. You're my gravity. I'm not giving away any real spoilers at all, I promise.
The bending of space according to large masses nearby is love.
You're my gravity. Yes, Haley, it's like I go to you.
So is the love the mass?
Yes.
But like that's not gravity and it's okay.
Yes, their love has mass.
You're right.
And it's gigantic. I love you so much.
Like a supermassive black hole, and it's gonna consume you, and there's nothing toxic about that, I assume.
Well, one of them, in Fourth Wing, one of them does have shadow magic, so... Kind of could make maybe like a tiny black hole.
Okay.
I will say about this whole chandelier moment that I love that, like, they're all in the middle just, like, throwing it out there. Like, yeah, Greyback, you can have Hermione, you know, you can eat her, and you can do this, and we're going to do that. And then they all stop because they hear, squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
What the fuck is that?
And then, like, slow pan, look up. You know what I mean? There's Dobby just, squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
It's really good. And he's smart. He's like, you know what? In the commotion, they may not be able to hear me. I'm just going to get it done as fast as I can. And it was fast enough, bro. Like, he fucking did it.
I feel like he was up there and just being like, I knew it. I knew nobody was going to dust this after I left Vindication.
The chandelier was going to come down sooner, but he dusted it first.
Oh my god. So Dobby brings the chandelier crashing down on Hermione because Bellatrix dives out of the way. I guess she's fine.
I don't know how this works out. Like, my brain doesn't understand the space that went around her and the size of the chandelier for her to, like, just be pulled from a chandelier landing on her.
There's, like, a couple options. One, it was a very large chandelier that crashed around her. Like, there's a hollow space inside because... The imagery does focus on the glass blasting outwards, or it is really tacky and cheap, and it didn't hurt that bad.
She's been through worse.
Like, yeah, she's had a hard day. It's just like bonk. It's like a theater prop, you know?
Yeah, maybe it's like it exploded more in like a shower around her, so it's like hitting people in the face, but not like...
Like those sugar bottles people bang over the heads in movies.
Right.
You know, the bottles made of sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah, so it's not like shattering outward direct... Because, like, Hermione's laying on the ground.
Yeah, she's prone.
Yeah, so it might be, like, almost like fluid dynamics kind of splashing upward.
Don't you
just from the force.
Also, maybe, you know, there's no evidence for this, but like maybe in her like heightened state of adrenaline, she performs like accidental voiceless magic and protects herself.
I mean,
true.
Wizard kids do that shit,
or intentional.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's her.
We can't tell how conscious she is. Or we can't. You know, we don't really get a good look at her.
I don't know. She can do anything.
Yeah,
I'll go with that.
And she does.
Yeah,
she fucking does do anything.
Fucking love her.
So Harry grabs all 3 wands from Draco, and Draco's like, "Take them, honey."
Yeah.
Honey, take them, honey. I wish that was in the book. Let me see if it is.
I know.
He doesn't even like win them with magic. He just like grabs them, and I guess this is the point where Harry technically becomes the master of the Elder Wand or something.
Oh, when does that even happen?
He, like, mentions at the end, like, yeah, but, like, Draco took the wand from Dumbledore, and then I took a wand from Draco, so technically, but, like, that makes no fucking sense.
I know. I think that there may have been a disarming moment. Give me a second. I'm just gonna look real quick. But it doesn't make any sense. Okay, wait. No! Wrong
Uh-huh.
person to the drawing room. Okay.
We're on the same spot.
Okay, so, Ron does Expelliarmus on Bellatrix, and then Harry catches that wand. Harry stupefies Lucius. Draco still has his wand.
He says he leapt over an armchair and wrestled the 3 wands from Draco's grip, pointing all of them at Greyback, and yelled, "Stupefy."
Is it still... I mean, is that really what this is? I kind of have never looked this in the eyes before. Is it real that he earns dominion over the Elder Wand based on grabbing wands out of Draco's hand?
That's always been my understanding. I could be off. Like, maybe he disarms Draco of a wand later on, but, like, either way, it just doesn't make any sense that, like, disarming Draco of any wand while Draco is technically master of the Elder Wand would make you master of the Elder Wand.
It also doesn't make sense that the way that wand lore is that, like, just grabbing would be good enough.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't...
But it's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So...
You know what would have
special.
helped would be establishing all of this lore shit at any point before this book.
Yeah.
Sure. So, I don't think I've ever noticed before that Harry does not just classically disarm with an Expelliarmus Draco in this scene. I think I have always assumed later that that's what happened in this scene. So, that's stupid. So, Harry uses all 3 wands to stun Greyback really hard, which is good. I hope he dies.
Yeah.
I hope he fucking dies.
Yeah.
He doesn't. We see him later, but that's fine.
A
Harry
girl can dream.
I know. Harry throws Ron a wand. He pulls Grip Hook from under the chandelier. He's probably fine, I guess. We didn't talk about how he was when the chandelier fell.
I think Bellatrix had just cut him across the face with the sword after he identified it as, quote-unquote, identified it as being a quote-unquote fake.
And then pushed him out the way. Like, I'm done with you.
So, Harry grabs Grip Hook, grabs Dobby, and they go. And the last thing Harry sees is Bellatrix's knife coming at him.
Wait a second, we gotta rewind back real quick.
Okay.
Because we go through the whole thing of, because you're talking about Dobby speaking, and how...
Okay,
yeah.
yes.
So, like, Dobby disarms, and he gets Sissy's wand. And, and first of all, I mean, I don't like reading that line, so I'm gonna skip it. But anyways, Bellatrix calls him a name, and then they jump into, and he says, "Dobby has no master," squealed the elf. "Dobby is a free elf, and Dobby has come to save Harry Potter and his friends." Oh. It hits my heart every time.
Yeah. So when they arrive at Shell Cottage, they're on the beach, Shell Cottage is in the distance, and Harry is like, "Thank God I'm fine."
We survived.
Like, as they're apparating, he, like, feels Dobby's hand kind of, like, twitch in his hand, and he's like, oh, Dobby, were you taking over because I'm doing a bad job? Please, by all means.
Yes.
Right.
It's really upsetting. Dobby dies. And, like, I've never liked Dobby as a character, but he is a good elf. He's a good friend, and it is sad when a friend dies. Like, this is sad, even though I never wanted him in this fucking book series.
Yeah.
But it's also the whole, like, regardless of things, at the end of the day, he's an innocent. So, you have an innocent sacrifice themselves for the greater good, and it just pulls at your heart.
It really does. Mike, like, how do you feel about Dobby, like, over the course of the whole series as a character?
I think that there was definitely growth to be had, because there was definitely moments for me where I just found him a little obnoxious. You know what I mean? And just, like, too much in the business, and, like, taking agency over things, but then, like, falling back on, but I'm an elf, those kind of things. But, like, I think I think he had to be who he was to us in the books to get to who he was in this scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, there was moments where I was like, get the elf the fuck out of here. But, for as a whole, by the time you get here, you can't help but, like, see the innocence and loving them big old round marble eyes,
Yeah. Yeah, reflecting the light from stars they can't see. Like, credit where it's due. That's a pretty good line.
Yeah, Haley, how do you feel about Dobby overall?
I mean, like, we've discussed the way that, like, house elves are kind of, like, written and treated in this series, and it's, like, tropey and, like, a weird, uncomfortable, like, old-fashioned racism-y kind of way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and, like, the actual mythology that they're based on are, like, creatures that move into your house, like, of their own volition, and then, like, clean up your stuff but, like, they've just, like, taken the job upon themselves, and they're, like, deeply insulted by certain things, so you have to, like, be polite to them, and,
Yes. Like real mythology of the Fae.
yeah, like, real, like, they're called brownies, I think, in,
Yes,
yeah.
I remember that from a very old, and by very old I mean I owned this when I was like 4, book of mythological creatures that I had.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think they're like an Irish folklore thing. So, like, if like the slavery element hadn't been there, I think that the house elves would have been much more interesting in general.
Yeah.
And, like, Dobby's...
Like, just, like, meddling neighbors, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're very much of their own volition. That could have been really cool.
And, like, I guess Book 2 wouldn't have, like, made sense that way with, like, Dobby breaking ranks, but still...
And Book 4 with the Winky politics.
Yeah, it's just...
But, like, if you're a good writer, you can just make it work anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remember even, like, reading these and going through everything and just the whole just house elf, like, lore of it all, and this is before we knew of how awful of a human being the author is, but, like, I remember reading and then going, oh, this is not good. Oh,
yeah.
Girl, you're stepping on things you probably shouldn't. Is she aware?
Yeah, it's like, oh, this feels like some Rudyard Kipling shit. Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, we've moved past that shit. But, like, I do appreciate, at the very least, that Dobby's, like, last statement is, like, hey, I'm a free elf and I'm here to help my friends. Like,
yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
that's... Alright, fine. Didn't need to be an element in the first place, but still.
Agreed. My take on Dobby is that he is too good of a friend for Harry. Harry does not deserve him at all.
Absolutely.
And, like, watching Dobby, like take his freedom and find his agency, like, in the name of what is ultimately, like, servitude to Harry, because Harry does not reciprocate, is, like, upsetting and underwhelming. So, like, I think that Dobby, like you said, Haley, like, could have been better and different, but he's too good for this story, and he's too good for Harry fucking Potter.
Yeah.
Agreed, 100%.
He's too good for this author. She couldn't write him in a way that is good.
Oh, you know what would have been cool if, like,
What?
house elves had, like, internal politics of, like, we don't fuck with wizards and they don't fuck with us and we maintain that status quo. So no, Dobby, I know that the family you work, like, whose house you work in are planning some evil shit, but, like, no,
Yeah.
you don't
We
get
don't
to,
meddle.
yeah, you don't get to meddle. And he's like, but what if I do anyway?
What if I meddle?
Like, that would have been dope.
Yeah.
I think the Dobby in my mind is different than the Dobby in the books. Do you know what I mean? Because like, I built him to, like, I know when I read the books and I watch the movie, I see those things, and sometimes I'm kind of like, well, the Dobby in my mind, you know, and it's just like, it's different.
Yeah.
You know? So, like,
Yeah,
my
I think-
Dobby I love.
I think that if, like, the main thing you remember about Dobby is this scene,
Yeah.
an innocent who dies to protect his friends, then it's really easy to love him.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, this scene fucking, it sticks.
Yeah.
It's upsetting. Yeah. So let's drink to Dobby. I have my gigantic water bottle. You guys have actual booze.
I mean, I finished my drink earlier, but...
I'm about 3/4 through my bottle of wine.
Oh, hell
Here's
yeah.
the Dobby.
Pour one out for Dobby, but pour it into your gullet. Here lies Dobby, a free elf.
Poor little guy.
Finally free.
I know. Mike, do you have any final thoughts about the chapter?
I think kind of covered it, just that, like, it's such a dark and heavy chapter, but it's also, like, as an adult reading, through Harry Potter, it's almost like finally we're here because, you know, they are, we know, and it happens as you go through book 7 more, but like just because they are young adults now, we can hit deeper and darker themes. So it's like, for me, even though I am like so upset by the ending and the death of Dobby, my appreciation for this chapter is strong compared to, say, chapters in like, some of the chapters in like book 1 and 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Haley, do you have any final thoughts about the chapter?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay. I love this chapter. I think it's a lot of fun. I think villains are usually more fun than the heroes. Mm-hmm. Especially when it's the kind of story where, like, the heroes have, like, Gryffindor energy, and they have, like, sacrificial one-upmanship, and, like, we can't take a single step out of line because we're the heroes. I'm thinking about Once Upon a Time, which y'all know I've been watching for a long time, and it's like, we'll find a way because we're the heroes. And it's like, man,
good.
You keep saying you're the heroes.
We just have to believe in ourselves.
That was me with Once Upon a Time. Same thing.
Yeah.
But, like,
So-
the only reason it works out is because the villains are so bumbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like in Once Upon a Time, there's always some weird magical loophole that saves the day, a bit of a Deus Ex Machina. But I think that like the Malfoy family dynamics are like extremely fun. I think that like all of the dialogue among the villains in this scene is fun. I think that the drama, even though it's like horrifying, what happens to Hermione is horrifying. Finding Luna here is horrifying. It's also very exciting, you know. And so like I think it's fun.
Yeah, especially after a couple chapters of just inertia.
Yes. Yep. The last chapter was an epiphany chapter. After an epiphany following a storytelling chapter. I know. So next week we're going to cover the film part 1. I'm really excited about that. It's kind of cool to take a mid-season break to do a film.
Yeah.
You know?
This book's long enough that we kind of need to.
Yeah, and then by the end of September, we will be on the final day. Like, the night before the Battle of Hogwarts. Yeah.
That's wild.
It's really
Come
cool.
so far.
It takes fucking, like, 3 months to get through that, but we're gonna fucking do it.
Whew.
All right, let's move on to plugs. Mike, where can the people find you and your work on the internet?
On the internet, you can find me at Wildling Press on Instagram and Facebook. You can see the books that we're currently working on and constantly promoting. And personal side, I don't really do too much on the internet anymore. So yeah, at Wildling Press.
Awesome. And what's something you've been reading, watching, playing, listening to lately you think our listeners would enjoy?
Oh my gosh. I honestly... Oh, I do have one. I've been doing the audiobook by Paul Tremblay, and it's called Horror Movie. And he's the one who did A Cabin in the Woods.
Oh.
And the audiobook is set like past and present kind of thing. And it's about these people who, like, film students who wanted to make a horror movie based off a mask they found. But, like, shit unfolds and the movie never fully gets made, very in a Blair Witch way.
Oh, shit.
And now in present day, they're getting the guy who wore the mask to do a reboot of the movie. And shit's hitting the fan again.
Oh,
But
my God.
Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. I'm not done yet, but it's really good.
That's cool.
Also, Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle.
Oh, yeah, that's on my to-be-read soon pile.
Yes, Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. Another one to check out.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I keep the books I want to read soon on my nightstand instead of on my bookshelf so they can, like, glare at me every day, you know, as I go to bed. So that's where that book is. Haley, what are you plugging today?
I actually need to go and look at it because I don't remember what it's called, but one sec.
Okay.
I haven't started Camp Damascus yet. I'm going to do that after...
Why did we read
Horror
the
movie.
opposite ones? I should have
I
read
was
Bury
supposed to
Your
do
Gaze.
Camp Damascus first because they mention it in Bury Your Gaze.
I know. Well, and I started reading Camp Damascus for just out of nowhere. I was like, ooh, summer camp. and then my Bury Your Gaze just showed up, and I was like, oh, yeah, this came out this week. I forgot.
Okay.
You're going to love it.
So, over the weekend, I was take a little walk down to the grocery store that does really cheap chicken on Sundays, and you get like 2 little deli sides with it. It's like 8 meals, and I realized that the Richmond Watermelon Festival was in full swing, which is super fun if you do not plan to go and just end up there, which I seem to do every year somehow. So I purchased one thing, which was a little thing of baklava, and it's the most perfect baklava I've ever had. The little old lady who sold it to me had a legit Greek accent, and told me that she had been up all night baking. But it's Time for Sweets baklava, and it's not completely fucking saturated in honey, which I very much appreciated.
That's awesome.
I've
you're plugging
most
this
of
like
that.
very specific local handmade.
She delivers.
baklava.
She ships. She can ship. She told me.
Oh, she ships. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. Time for Sweets baklava. There is a website. Check them out.
Okay.
You might be able to get some to your door.
Cool. Hell yeah. Okay, that's I love a food rec. With Grace being on the show less recently, we don't get nearly as many sweets recommendations as we used to.
I was thinking about Brooke and the queso thing a while ago.
Oh my god. Yeah, when Brooke was like deeply pregnant and we were like, what are you plugging this week? And she was like, chips and queso.
I feel you, girl. I'm not pregnant. I'm always indoors, chips and queso.
I've been your host, Christina. You know where to find me, and I have a couple of really awesome books to plug this week. I read By Any Other Name by Aaron Cotter, which is like an Elizabethan-era gay mystery. And Haley, I think I mentioned to you recently that I just love like a historical, like specifically dude gay. There's something about the cravats and the dandiness. Like, there's just something about, like, the sapphic historical fiction's good, too, but, like, something about the boys back then just wanting to suck each other's dicks is just very fun for me. Something
Preach,
about it. Something about it. I also read completely different tone. We Have Always Been Here, a queer Muslim memoir by Samra Habib, which is exactly what it sounds like. It was very, like, raw and intimate, and I really enjoyed it. I also read Queen of the Tiles by Hannah Alkoff, which was a murder mystery set at a high school Scrabble tournament in Malaysia.
Oh my god.
It was awesome. It was very fun if you like YA mysteries. And as I've mentioned several times, I also read Iron Flame, which is the sequel to The Fourth Wing, which I don't recommend to people unless you like reading fat fantasy books with a little bit too much to keep track of. That's a genre that some people love, and, you know, I like it from time to time, and I had a lot of fun with these books. They're really action-y and, like, very fun, and, you know, there's a very good sex scene, at least one per book, so...
Sold.
Hell yeah. Mike, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We love you so much.
Yeah, it's good
Thank
seeing
you
you.
for having me. I know I love y'all so much. I love seeing y'all's faces. I'm lucky everyone just hears our voices, but I get to see faces.
Yeah, let's get happy hour.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Sooner than later.
Yes.
Yes. And Haley, as ever, thank you for being here. Thank you for loving me.
Len.
All right, let's go kill Voldemort.
Let's go kill Voldemort!
Death to Voldemort.
That's it, potheads. Thanks for listening to The Restricted Section. Hosted and produced by me, Christina Kahn. Theme music produced by Ryan Kahn. Logo designed by Michael Hardison. Please don't find us on social media. I am not doing anything there. However, you are welcome to join our Patreon. For $1 a month, you can gain access to our Discord server, which is a lot of fun. And for $5 a month, you get access to our monthly bonus episodes. There's also a $10 and a $20 tier as well. So please go check that out. We are honored to be part of Deus Ex Media Podcast Network, which features lots of wonderful podcasts for nerds, including this one.
Coffee, tea, honor, cabbage. Long ago, the 4 elements lived in harmony. Then, shit went totally cray when the Avatar attacked. Only the Cabbage Man, merchant of fine cruciferous vegetables, could stand against his trolling. But when the world needed some dank veg, he vanished. 10 years have passed, and my partner and I have started a new podcast.
My cabbages! An Avatar podcast.
A weekly show about Avatar The Last Airbender. Whether it's Sokka's new line of cologne.
Hey, look at you, sitting there on a seal. Well, now look back at me. I'm on an even bigger seal. Now look away.
D&D related antics.
You have to make an acrobatics check for that, and Aang just like unzips his pants and whips out his d20s. He's just like, I got this.
Or randomly breaking into song.
Go bending waterfall.
We'll stumble our way through the greatest show ever made, one episode at a time.
You can reach us at CabbageCast, which is our Twitter, or
subscribe wherever you catch pod.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you think this is?
Haley, you're looking very gay today.
Thank you.
Dave X Media.